Hey, how you doing today? I am Tequila Coleman. In today's video, I'm going to answer one of our God ordained future husband question. So he sent in a couple of questions. He said, if we're supposed to wait on God's timing for the union between God ordained spouses, how is it God's timing when the man is supposed to pursue the woman? Um, he said, will God tell the man when to pursue as out the God ordained wife he's shown in man? Or does the man have to wait for God to bring the spouses together? I hope you understand what I'm trying to ask, and thank you for everything you've done so far. I appreciate all the advice you give us. So, thank you. I appreciate you for sending in your question. So, let's start with your first one. If we're supposed to wait on God's timing for the union between God ordained spouses, how is it God's timing when the man is supposed to pursue the woman? So, when you hear me talk about God's timing, I want you to understand that God has he has an appointed time for this God ordained marriage to come together in marriage. Okay. So we can go ahead of God. We can do things, way before it's God's appointed time. And we could mess things up. We can, um I don't want to say delay, but we can get in our own way, put it like that. So God's timing is understanding that when God reveals to you that this is your God ordained wife, that doesn't mean that this is the time for this marriage to come together. That's not what that means. Okay. God has an appointed time for this marriage for you and your God ordained wife to come together in marriage. Okay. So God will tell the man, or give him the green light on when to pursue. Now, I want to say this, okay? Because let's say when God revealed to you that this was your God ordained wife, or maybe he didn't, or maybe the God ordained future husband didn't get that revelation, and he ended up rejecting his God ordained wife, right, for a counterfeit. Understand that for that particular God ordained spouse who rejected his God ordained wife, God's chosen one, because what that means is he now just rejected God. And so now, okay, he's going to go through a process, right, where God has to correct him. He might go through his judgment, and then he would go through a period where he has to sacrifice, right, just to show God, he's serious. His eyes are open. He's able to identify that this is his wife, right? So in that particular situation, for that man, he would have to wait on God to give him the green light, right? And what I've been hearing lately is that God is actually telling, your God ordained husbands who rejected the wives in the past, he's actually giving them instructions on how to come back correctly and pursue you. Okay, pursue the wife. So again, for that particular husband, he would have to wait. Okay. And he would have to wait for God to give him the green light, because even if he tried to go before God and try to reach out to the God ordained wife after he rejected her, God is going to block it. It's not going to come together. Okay. And that blocking could look like a divine separation. That blocking could look like God not even allowing her to pick up that phone. She's missing his call. Right. So there's order in God's kingdom. Okay. But when God reveals to you that this is your God ordained spouse, this is your God ordained wife, just understand that in that moment it was just a revealing. He didn't say pursue. He didn't say start dating. None of that. This is where we got to really press in and be in tune with God's voice and what he is speaking to us. Okay. Because like last year, I give you an example. When God told me back in I think it was November or December of 2020. He was leading me towards my God ordained spouse, but I didn't know that was my God ordained spouse at that time. But I kept hearing God tell me to go over there, go to him, right? And I kept telling God no, right? And so once I became obedient, to what God was telling me to do, and I got over there only to discover this is my God ordained spouse. I didn't hear God say, okay, it's time for the two of you to start dating, right? I didn't hear that. Immediately, God afterwards gave me a rebuke to give to him. Okay. So I was all confused. I was like, wait a minute, you just said this my spouse. Now you want me to rebuke him? You know? So you have to really be in tune, okay, with God and what he is saying during that time. Okay. And just wait on God. He would tell you exactly how to pursue her. He would tell you, he would give you the signs if it's clear, right? Because you got to look at all who your God ordained wife is, the things she's going through, the people in her life. It may not be time for the two of you to come together right now. Okay. He might have to correct her. He might have to correct you. I do know we both of us, like the God ordained husband and the God ordained wife, they have to go through their own growing, maturing, right? Stepping into purpose, learning our identity in Christ. It's like basic things we have to know before we enter into these God ordained marriages. Okay. So my advice, just to sum this up, just wait on God. Okay. Wait on God. Keep pressing in, just really learn his voice so that when he speak, you hear him clearly and you know exactly when to move and how to move. Okay. So I hope that this was clear. I am Tequila Coleman. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a positive comment. I'll talk to you all real soon. Take care.